In a development that has sent ripples across the global track and field community, World Athletics has issued an urgent communication to Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track following the league's decision to turn down a newly revised partnership offer. The escalating tension between the sport's governing body and the rapidly rising private league has sparked debate across the athletics ecosystem, raising questions about the future structure, governance, and commercial distribution of elite track competition. Michael Johnson, the legendary Olympic champion known for revolutionizing sprinting during his career, launched Grand Slam track with the stated goal of modernizing the sport, giving athletes more control over earnings, and creating a more entertainment-driven global tour. While the project initially drew cautious optimism from athletes and fans, its relationship with World Athletics has grown increasingly complex. The rejection of the latest offer appears to have triggered the strongest response yet from the governing body, signaling that the coexistence of traditional and private systems may be more fragile than previously believed. A growing rift reaches a new peak. According to insiders familiar with the matter, World Athletics' urgent message conveyed a direct request for clarity from Grand Slam track regarding its long-term competition model, athlete commitments, and potential conflicts with the international calendar. While both sides have publicly expressed respect for each other's contributions to the sport, the behind-the-scenes negotiations have reportedly been challenging and increasingly tense. World Athletics had extended a new proposal aimed at creating a hybrid partnership model, which would allow Grand Slam track events to run within regulatory parameters while retaining some of the flexibility and innovation that have become the league's core branding points. However, Grand Slam track declined the offer, citing concerns that the conditions would limit creative freedom, dilute the athlete-first model, and potentially slow momentum during its crucial growth phase. Following the refusal, World Athletics issued what is being described as an urgent message, outlining its expectations and demanding a detailed response. The communication emphasized compliance with competition rules, athlete release protocols, and international ranking alignment. More importantly, it warned that if unresolved, the structural disagreement could lead to more formal action in the future, an unprecedented level of pressure on the new league. Athletes caught in the middle. The mounting tension places elite athletes in a difficult position. Grand Slam track has become increasingly appealing to top sprinters, middle-distance runners, and field event specialists due to its high prize money, clearer season structure, and simplified broadcast production. Athletes have argued for years that track and field struggles with inconsistent marketing, scattered meet schedules, and financial instability for competitors outside the very top tier. Johnson's league promised a remedy. In contrast, World Athletics is responsible for maintaining global standards, athlete eligibility, anti-doping structure, and qualification systems for major championships. For athletes who hope to compete at the Olympics or World Championships, compliance with the federation is essential. Now, they find themselves evaluating the risk of associating with a league that could face regulatory restrictions if the standoff intensifies. Several Olympic medalists have already voiced concerns privately, acknowledging the appeal of the Grand Slam concept while admitting that jeopardizing international eligibility is not an option. For younger athletes or those rising through the ranks, the dilemma becomes even more complicated. Grand Slam track reportedly offers better financial guarantees than many World Athletics sanctioned competitions. For these athletes, whose careers depend heavily on sponsorship and prize earnings, the new league represents opportunity, but with the looming uncertainty introduced by the urgent message, some hesitate to commit fully. Michael Johnson's vision and response. Michael Johnson has not made a public statement directly addressing the urgent message, but individuals within his camp have emphasized that he remains confident in the league's direction. Johnson has repeatedly argued that track and field requires modernization to remain viable in an increasingly competitive global sports marketplace. He believes athletes deserve a larger share of revenue, properly structured seasons, and events designed to entertain global audiences at scale. The core philosophy behind Grand Slam track is simplicity: fewer events, higher stakes, and more compelling storytelling around star athletes. While World Athletics Diamond League has attempted incremental innovation in recent years, critics argue that the sport's traditional organizers have been too cautious in implementing truly transformative changes. Johnson's league, in contrast, proposes to tackle these issues head-on. Turning down the latest offer from World Athletics seems consistent with his long-held philosophy of maintaining independence and building a fully self-sufficient model. Insiders say Johnson believes endorsing restrictive terms this early would compromise the entire purpose of the league, preventing it from differentiating itself in meaningful ways. Concerns raised by World Athletics. World Athletics' urgent message reportedly centered on several key issues. 1. Calendar conflicts. The governing body is concerned that Grand Slam track's proposed schedule overlaps with major sanctioned events. They argue that athletes cannot sustain year-round high-intensity performance without risking injury. 2. Ranking and eligibility. World Athletics has stringent ranking requirements for entry into major championships. If Grand Slam events fall outside the sanctioned framework, performances may not count toward qualification, creating major obstacles for participants. 3. Broadcast rights and competition integrity. The Federation wants assurance that broadcast deals associated with the new league will not interfere with global rights distribution for official events. They also seek clarity on data management, timing systems, and anti-doping protocols. 4. Governance transparency. Federation executives want a clearer breakdown of decision-making structures within the Grand Slam track organization. As a private league, it is not obligated to reveal much, but World Athletics insists transparency is essential when athletes' eligibility is at stake. A collision of models. At the core of the standoff is a fundamental difference in how the sport should be managed and presented. World Athletics views itself as the global steward of the sport, responsible for upholding fairness, integrity, and structure across all levels. Grand Slam track sees itself as a catalyst for change, an innovative alternative focused on entertainment, commercial appeal, and athlete empowerment. This ideological divide is not unique in sports. Basketball saw a similar clash during the emergence of alternative leagues. Golf is currently navigating a comparable disruption. Tennis has also faced proposals for athlete-run tours. In all cases, traditional governing bodies reacted strongly to protect their role, structure, and commercial ecosystem. Track and field is now experiencing that very moment of friction. Reactions from the athletic community. Across social media and athlete forums, opinions vary widely. Some athletes applaud Johnson for challenging a system they believe has stagnated. Others worry that a split in the sport could weaken fan engagement and create confusion. Coaches express concerns over overburdened competition calendars. Event organizers fear losing top talent to better-paying private meets. Meanwhile, fans appear divided. One segment is undeniably excited about fresh ideas and high-stakes competitions. Another believes that without coordination with World Athletics, the sport risks fragmentation. What happens next? The urgent message from World Athletics is seen by many observers as a final attempt at diplomacy before more decisive action. While no sanctions or formal restrictions have been announced, the undertone of the message suggests that such measures remain on the table if negotiations fail. Possible outcomes include: 1. A renewed round of negotiations. Both parties could return to the table to revisit terms. Some analysts believe that, despite differences, both sides ultimately need one another. 2. Conditional approval. Grand Slam track could receive limited sanctioning, contingent on meeting specific compliance standards. 3. Athletes being forced to choose. If the standoff escalates, athletes may be required to commit exclusively to one system, reshaping the competitive landscape. 4. Structural reform. A potential best-case scenario could involve World Athletics adopting some of Johnson's innovations into the mainstream global calendar. Johnson's league gains momentum despite tensions. Despite the urgency of the current dispute, Grand Slam track continues to gain traction. Financial backers remain supportive, athlete interest has grown, and early promotional material has already generated enthusiasm among younger fans. The league is positioning itself not merely as a competitor to the traditional model but as a modern reinvention of the sport's presentation. Insiders suggest that the rejection of the latest offer reflects the league's confidence in its direction. The leadership reportedly believes that if Grand Slam track can successfully launch its first season, the leverage between the two sides will shift significantly. Uncertain future, high stakes. As of now, both World Athletics and Grand Slam track find themselves at a critical crossroads. The future of elite track and field could hinge on the next steps taken by each organization. Whether the urgent message leads to reconciliation, confrontation, or transformation remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that the landscape of global athletics is changing faster than ever, and both sides are racing against time to secure their vision for the future. In the coming months, the world will watch closely to see whether the sport enters a new era of innovation or becomes divided by competing ambitions. Either way, the tension between World Athletics and Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track may prove to be one of the most consequential developments in track and field history.